Hi there, Mr. Sutton here, bringing you the IM3 2-4 Part 2 solutions on factoring advanced trinomials. On this problem, we have an a value that's not 1, and it looks like we can't take out a common factor either. 4 doesn't go into 3 or 7. So I'm going to go to the AC method. You could use that or guess and check, but I always like to use AC when I can. So we've got 4 times -7 to give me an AC value of -28. So then I'm going to look for factors of -28 that add up to -3. So we've got 1 and 28, 2 and 14, 4 and 7 looks like it's going to do the job if I have +4 and -7. So I'm going to split up this -3x into +4x minus 7x. And now that I have 4 terms, I can factor by grouping. For these first 2 terms, I can take out a 4x, leaving me with just x plus 1. For the next 2 terms, I can take out a -7, leaves me with x plus 1 as well. Since I have a common factor of x plus 1, I'll take that out. And then all that's left for the other parentheses is these leftovers, 4x and -7. On this problem, trying to factor this trinomial, I notice right away that my a value is not 1, and also that I cannot take out a common factor because 2 does not go into -7. So that leaves me then with either guess and check or the AC method, and I'm just going to go straight to the AC method here. There's a lot of possibilities with that 72 that I don't want to try out with guess and check. So 2 times -72, that gives me -144 for my AC value. So now I'm trying to find multiple or factors of -144 that add up to -7. And I know they have opposite signs because this is a negative that they multiply to. So let's try a few out. We've got 1 and 144. No way that's giving me a 7. 2 and 72 also does not. And for the rest of these, there's a whole bunch of factors of 144. So I'm going to get out my calculator just to make this a little faster. All right, so let's try 144 divided by 3. 3 and 48. That's not going to give us 7. And let me just yank my input from before. 144 divided by 4. 36 and 4 does not give us 7. 5's not going to work. How about 6? 6 and 24, getting closer, but still not what we need. Does 7 work? No, 7 goes into 140, but not 144. How about 8? 8 and 18, well, I could get a 10 out of that, but not a 7. Let's try a 9. How about 9 and 16? Yeah, I could get a 7 out of that if I had a +9 and a -16. So let me split this up into +9x minus 16x. And now I can factor by grouping since I have 4 terms. Let's take an x out of those first 2, leaving me with 2x plus 9. And for these next 2 here, looks like I can take out an 8, a -8. So that'll be a +2x plus 9 there as well. Now that I have a common factor, I can take out 2x plus 9. And that leaves me with my leftovers, x minus 8, right next to it. For this problem, I notice that I don't have an a value of 1. And let's see here, I can't really take out a common factor. 5 is not going to go into 28 or 12. So it's guess or check or AC method. I'll go with AC method. So we've got 5 times -12. That's going to be -60 for my AC value. And now I need to find factors of -60 that add up to -28. And I know they're going to have opposite signs because they multiply to a negative. So let me see here. We've got 1 and 60. Can't get 28 out of that. 2 and 30 could work, though, if I had +2 and -30. So let me split this up then into +2x minus 30x. And everything else I'll just keep the same. So I only changed splitting up this -28x. And now I can factor this by grouping because I've got 4 terms. So I can take an x out of the first 2, leaving me with 5x plus 2 in the parentheses. Out of the next 2 terms, I can take out a common factor of -6. That leaves me with a 5x plus 2 there as well. And now I can take out that common 5x plus 2 factor, and I've got x minus 6 left over for the other parentheses. For this problem, we don't have an a value of 1, and if you look to take out a common factor, you're going to find that's not going to work either. 5 doesn't go into 32. So we have to use either guess and check or AC on this. I'm going to go with AC. 5 times negative 64, that's going to be negative 320. And you could use a calculator if you needed to. And I think AC is a really good method on this one because 64 has a lot of possible factors. So that's kind of a mess to deal with. So let's see here. I need factors of negative 320 that add up to 32. And I know they're going to be opposite signs because we've got a negative that they're multiplying here to negative 320. So we've got 1 and 320. Can't get 32 out of that. 2 and 160 is not going to work. What else is there? 4 and 80. That's not going to work either. Let's keep going. 5 goes into this. How many times? Well, 64 times, because 5 times 64 gave us that in the first place. But I can't add or subtract 5 and 64 to get 32. So let's keep going. 6, does 6 go into it? Well, 3 doesn't go into it, so 6 won't. 7 I'm not going to worry about here. Doesn't go into it either. 7 goes into 350. So that's close enough that you can see it's not going to go into 320. How about 8? Well, 8 goes into 32 4 times, so it goes into 320 40 times. So 8 and 40, would that do anything for us? Yeah, I think I could get a 32 out of 8 and 40 if I had negative 8 and positive 40. So I'm going to split this 32 up into negative 8x plus 40x. And now that I've split this into 4 terms, I can use factoring by grouping. So I'll take an x out of those first two, leaving me with 5x minus 8. And for the next two here, I can take 8 out of everything. That leaves me with a 5x and a minus 8. Since I have 5x minus 8 for both terms, I can take that out as a common factor. And now my leftovers, x plus 8, go into parentheses next to it. For this problem, I know that the a value here is not 1, so I have to use some kind of advanced factoring. And taking out a common factor is not going to work. 6 and 30 have a common factor of 6, but 41 kind of messes all that up. So I'm going to go with the AC method to solve this. 6 times 30 gives me an AC value of 180. So now I'm looking for factors of 180 that add up to negative 41. And I know they're both negative because we're multiplying to get a positive and adding up to a negative. So let's check out some of these possibilities. 1 and 180 definitely won't work. 2 and 90, 92 is still too big. We've got 3 and 60, still too big. 4 and 45. Well, 4 and 45 could work if I was subtracting them rather than adding them together. So let's keep going. We've got 5 and 36. Now 5 plus 36 equals 41. So I can split this up then. I'm going to write 6x squared minus 5x minus 36x plus 30. Because again, 5 and 36 multiplies to 180 and adds up to 41. And now I'm going to factor by grouping. Let's take an x out of those first two. That leaves me with 6x minus 5. And out of the next two there, I can take out a negative 6. That'll leave me with 6x and a minus 5. Let's take that 6x minus 5 out of everything. And then x minus 6, my leftovers, I'll put that in the parentheses right next to it. And I am factored.